This video contains the top 3 best Town Hall 15 attack strategies to 3-star any base. So let's rank them and go step by step so you can 3-star more with these armies. So let's start with the third best army, the Zap Titans. This strategy still works incredibly well even after the new defensive levels were added. So the first idea is to get accustomed to using the Warden walk with the Flame Flinger and your lightning spells, of course. Typically, you want to use the Warden walk and the Flame Flinger first. Try to look for any mortars that are close to the area that you want to use your Flame Flinger. This is typically where you want to have the Warden tank for that said siege machine. What you'll want to make sure that you're doing with the lightning spells, however, is you want to use 1 earthquake and 6 lightning spells specifically on something like a Inferno and an Expo. Or other defenses, you could also look for a spell tower or even the monolith. Just keep in mind that the 6 lightning, 1 earthquake is not enough for a scatter shot. You need 1 extra. Otherwise, once you set up the funnel on one side, you do need to set the funnel on the other side. On that opposite side, it's typically a smaller funnel consisting of the king and the 2 witches. I would heavily recommend using the apprentice warden with this in this scenario, mostly because the king underneath the apprentice warden does better with it than without the apprentice warden. It will survive longer and get you more value. That's how insane he is with the king, which can then lead into him transferring into the rest of your army, which could play a very big role. Now, after your 2 funnels are set, it's time for your smash. Ice Golem, Queen, Balloons, and of course the Electro Titans are the thing that you should be sending in. Wall breakers are really nice to get your troops to go in initially and start moving yourself through towards the core, where you have a jump spell that is waiting for you. In this situation, I would always recommend using a rage spell within the core. 1 rage spell is more than enough for Electro Titans, and using a Grand Warden ability to protect them as they go through the core is very important. The one thing that you might want to bring with you is freeze spells. They're actually very good, and since the Electro Titans can already deal with the CC with their aura and the fact that they can hit air and ground, they have the ability to not need to worry about Clan Castle troops, so you can bring multiple freeze spells. This is why you want to use them to support your heroes as they move into the core, alongside protecting your Electro Titan and the heroes from the monolith. This also allows you to save onto any free spells for your back-end Royal Champion, where it is definitely going to be needed the most, especially as Diggy starts to lose a lot of HP. So having that ability allows you to more than likely clear multiple other defenses. It's going to make it a lot easier for you to 3-star. I would always recommend, though, have some cleanup. It's going to be really important because you do not want to get a time fail all because you didn't bring enough minions, as they are one of the best cleanup troops in the game, and therefore you didn't get the 3-star. So those are things you want to look out for, but it's an incredibly strong strategy that is very versatile in many situations. So if you're not much of a fan of smash attacks, you can always use the second best army we have here, the Queen Charge Mass Hog. This is a strategy that takes a lot of time, but if you're still new, there is a lot to learn from my mistakes using it pretty much the first time around. You want to make sure that your queen is going directly into the base, so don't have her walk on the outside for too long. You can always directly go for a particular defense that you're trying to make sure that you're getting rid of with the queen, but make sure that that queen is going into the base as soon as possible. A really nice way of getting value, especially early on, is the use of a Yeti Blimp using 2 Yetis alongside a couple other troops in there. Mainly trying to remove something like an Expo, Eagle, Monolith, Inferno, you name it. Those are really nice things to go in for. Of course, you want to deal with an enemy clan castle, which could either waste your time or you could be able to more easily get through it, but you'll then want to make sure that you're continuing to move your queen. This is where I would typically recommend using your rage spells to keep your queen alive and continue to let yourself move through the base. If you need to use any spells like freeze, that can honestly help you a ton. You can use your Barbarian King with a couple other units like Wizards in order to help your queen more so establish where she's going into. Once you have a good gauge at where your queen is going, usually going in towards the town hall, Once you know that you're guaranteed to get it, since you might have spells and the ability, you want to send in your Hogs. In some situations, you'll want to make sure that you are sending in the Hog Riders even if the Town Hall hasn't been secured. You want to make sure that you're using a Grand Warden ability early on because you're not bringing any heal. A skeleton spell to distract things like the scatter shots, alongside using free spells to either help the Archer Queen, getting rid of the Town Hall, or using them to protect the Hog Riders and the Royal Champion from any sort of splash defenses. This can really help a lot with a lot of different units, and without heal, Hog Riders can actually do some serious work, as that allows you to bring more smaller spells, which can also support them. You just want to make sure that you have enough time and cleanup so you can get the 3-star. Time management is very important, and if you don't have that, you will struggle. So learn from my mistakes. Make sure you're sending in your Hogs sooner so you don't get a time fail. And of course, if you're not so much of a Smash Attack fan or a Queen Charge fan, and you want something easy, the Super Barch is the best Town Hall 15 strategy right now. The main reason is everything just synergizes incredibly well, and the Super Archer Blimp, when it gets into the core, can get some massive value. Typically, you're running 5 to 6 balloons with a Grand Warden ability to boot in order to get your Blimp to go all the way deep into the base. Your goal is as many key defenses. This includes the Infernos, the Town Hall, Monolith, Eagle Artillery, maybe not the scatter shots all the time, but if you can get those scatter shots, that's really nice too. So you want to just get as many of the defenses down. Typically, you want the core just gutted, so it makes it so much easier for your heroes and your super barbarians. Does this mean that you always need to go in for the Town Hall? No. If the Town Hall doesn't go down, and as long as you clear other structures, you'll still be completely fine. You just need to find a way to get your heroes to go towards it. But this is going to allow you to then set up your heroes to pretty much take out the rest of the base. From here, this is where you have the Electro Titan, Apprentice Warden, King, and Queen moving in. While you are sending those units in, you're sending in your Super Barbarians to go around the base. You want them to clear as many of these structures as you can, and you're going to be sporadically sending in the Super Barbarians. You want them just to go in periodically in order to clear out defensive structures, create funneling, but create a direction that you want them to go. And that's what's going to help you. It's what's going to allow you to more comfortably get a good percentage and a good 3-star. It's an incredibly easy army that doesn't always need wall breakers, but very nice to bring depending on the base. You can also use your Royal Champion towards the latter half of the army, the latter half of the attack. Since you want to make sure that the Super Barbarians and what you've already done with your heroes is already a solid chunk of the base down, to where pretty much the Queen and the Royal Champion could be your final couple heroes left up. If you still have your Barbarian King up, that's even better. So you just want to make sure that you are periodically sending in those Super Barbarians, making sure that they're able to remove trash buildings, creating a lane that you want some of your heroes to go to, and it will help you pretty much overwhelm the rest of the base for a 3-star. It's a very strong army, and with the Apprentice Warden, it is by far one of the greatest armies to use right now that you can even use at lower Town Hall levels. Hopefully, this helps you in getting consistent 3-stars with any of these armies. Of course, if you're looking for more armies to use at Town Hall 15, I'd recommend checking out this video right here, and I will be seeing you there.